Greetings, you with the Band of Words for Christ, Fort Jones, Sky Valley chapter. We're going to examine a little bit more about John Winthrop, his speech that's nicknamed City Upon a Hill. And I want to read to you the last part of it, and then I'll read to you verses that match up with that last part. Therefore, let us choose life, that we and our seed may live, by obeying his voice and cleaving to him. For he is our life and our prosperity. And then let's just get this in there for you. Deuteronomy 6:5. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, all thy soul, with all thy might. Mark 12:30. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment. Mark 12, verse 31. And the second is like, namely this: thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these. Deuteronomy 31. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessings and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations whither the Lord thy God hath driven thee. Deuteronomy 32. And it shall return unto the Lord thy God, and shalt obey his voice, according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart and with all thy soul. Verse 3. Then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity, and have compassion on thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord thy God hath scattered thee. Verse 4. And if any of thine be driven out into the utmost part of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy God gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. Deuteronomy 35. And the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed. Thou shalt possess it. He will do thee good, and multiply thy seed above thy fathers. Deuteronomy 36. And the Lord thy God will circumcise thine heart and the heart of thy seed, to love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. Romans 2, verse 29. But he is a Jew which is one inwardly, and circumcision is that of the heart, in the spirit, and not in the letter, whose praise is not of men, but of God. Deuteronomy 37. And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and upon them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Deuteronomy 38. And thou wilt turn and obey the voice of the Lord, and do all his commandments which I have commanded thee this day. Deuteronomy 39. And the Lord thy God will make thee plenteous in every work of thine hand, in the fruit of thy body, in the fruit of thy cattle, in the fruit of thy land, for good. For the Lord will again rejoice over thee, as he rejoiced over thy fathers. Deuteronomy 30:10. And if thou shalt hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which are written in this book of the law, and if thou turn unto the Lord thy God with all thine heart and with all thy soul. Deuteronomy 30:11. For this commandment which I command thee this day is not hidden from thee, neither is it far off. 30:12. It is not in heaven that thou shouldest say, who shall go up to us for heaven, and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it. Verse 13. Neither is it beyond the sea that thou shouldest say, who shall go over the sea for us, and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it. Verse 14. But the word is not very nigh unto thee, in thy mouth and in thy heart, that thou mayest do it. 30, verse 15. See, I have set before thee this day life and good, death and evil. Deuteronomy 30:16. And that I command thee this day to love the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, to keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply. And the Lord thy God will bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess it. And we're going to skip on down to Romans 8:33. And who shall lay anything to the charge of God's elect? It is God that justifieth. Who is he that condemneth? It is Christ that died, yet rather is risen again, who is even at the right hand of God, who maketh intercession for us. And let's hit the conclusion reminder. Therefore, let us choose life, that we and our seed may live by obeying his voice and cleaving to him, for he is our life and our prosperity. I want to make a note. John Winthrop was the first governor of the colony of Massachusetts. Hold on a sec, Scoot. What became of one of the 13 founding states of the USA of the North American continent, he uses his speech to tell all the colonists of what God was expecting of them in teamwork, among many other things. This speech still speaks to us today, as you will see in the pages that follow. I have it all online for you. Scott Skinner respelled it into modern English spelling in the pages that follow it. Fare thee well, and God bless thee richly as you follow the path of life.